February 24th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye.
Now, it's been a couple weeks since we recorded this last. Remind me again, what was the evidence we had found? We had gone into that locker room for the evidence, and we had found some fingerprints that were matching.
Well, really what we did was
Marshall?
we got the Joe Dark killings.
That too.
But yeah, it has been a little while.
And the vase.
Blood on the vase.
The vase that was from that particular killing.
Yeah, Marshall's fingerprints. Bloody fingerprints. Let's see. We have the security video. Evidence locker.
Right, showing the struggle.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just wandering man, same as you. Wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross the intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Are you making him sound super nasally this time around?
I'm nasally. I also have different, I have different headphones on.
You have different headphones.
So my voice acting is actually going to be off.
You might not be as loud as you typically are.
No, I'm not. I could put my normal headphones on, but
that would probably be better, wouldn't
my
it?
ears have been aching a little.
Oh no.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just not moisture. You know, it's warmer, so I'm sweatier. And they've just been kind of sensitive lately, so I wanted to wear lighter headphones for a little while. So, honestly, I think I'm just going to sound different.
Is it the cartilage, or is it the mastoids around your ear that are hurting?
No, the insides.
The insides of your ear, that's different.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You are in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Emphasis on old, but not that old.
I was about to say, he could retort with my English is the old English.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. But remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon every cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Okay. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
Interred them.
You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
So he didn't leave.
I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in the way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime. Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There's a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired?
Wait, is the judge presenting evidence now? What was up with that?
It's a little bit of an odd case. Oh. I thought you were going to say something.
No.
Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in my day, locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanisms? Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at Street Signs Saloon at the time it went down. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongolia's sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want to raise this year? I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. You plan on pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
Steel horse? He means his car?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you would still use horse.
He's got a motorcycle.
Oh, a motorcycle. It makes more sense.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante.
Okay, so he's saying that you have the trump card, but you don't want to use it initially?
His bloody fingerprints.
Right.
Okay.
So, can we go back through... Well, that does show...
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there at that time?
No.
Okay, the thin rubber glove. I mean...
SL9 is, SL9 11 is written on the tag. Seems this is more evidence from that incident. Okay, nothing else here.
Not unless we actually look for blood on it or something, but... The print had been wiped, so that's the wiped one, but didn't we find one that had... So, we're not just supposed to present his?
Yeah, we probably are.
So go to the last line that says if you don't have evidence that I was involved, then blah blah blah. Yeah, that's the one that you need to
I really
said
wish I could
something
just
on.
loop through the dialogue without triggering that, like...
Well,
There
anyways,
we go.
the room's what?
Okay.
Okay.
So let's present that. Yep. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Huh. Listen, real good, partner. Like I said, I'm not the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Seems to me, there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About these blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime.
He better not make up a lie that he cut himself.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it.
Wait a minute. He's saying that the murderer placed the blood atop his fingerprints?
Just near his handprint by chance. Just sheer chance.
But wasn't the luminol... was the bloodstain exactly in the shape of his handprint,
No,
though?
so there was a bloody handprint, but it had... there's remnants of a bloody handprint, but in cleaning it off, it wiped away the fingerprints. But there was a non-bloody handprint. His excuse seems valid, although there's room for doubt. Sorry, I missed whatever the line was. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it.
The bloodstained fingerprints. Cross-examination.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. Oops, not present press. Playing one-handed for now. That's because you... How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. Oh. But that one was locked. Oh.
But that one is the one with the piece of cloth dangling out of it.
He absolutely opened it up.
He absolutely did, because that's where...
Okay.
So the next piece
I'm
of
gonna give
evidence
you
is
the
going to be the
controller for
video,
now.
isn't it?
Yep. My right hand is just a little achy.
Okay.
Oh, that's the locker. Okay, sorry. All that's in there now is a heap of broken dreams.
A heap of broken dreams. Also something you stuffed in there to cover your tracks.
Make sure you don't skip the lines because you skipped what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I think you did. Whatever, it doesn't matter that much. I see.
I think it's because you passed the controller off to me and I thought you had already read it.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the old man stuff. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it.
Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record found a bloody handprint on Marshall's own locker, and the print had been wiped.
So, left bumper to press.
Left bumper?
Yeah. One of them happened to be the same place as the bloodstained handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderer touched the locker with where my fingerprint was by chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
I mean, maybe it would be 1 in however many lockers are on the upper row on that particular side. Though the person didn't need to put their hand on a locker. Unless they were bracing themselves and injured themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's highly unlikely. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated.
Do you think that we'll press this, but then this is where we present the video evidence, perhaps?
Probably. Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal.
An English language fun.
One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder.
He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain on the scene, though thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker.
Oh, right, that one at the end.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
Huh, so that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this.
He's presenting us with a thing that we're going to use to prove that he did it, though.
Yeah,
why?
What a goon.
Why?
The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
Well, we know it's different. We know it's that piece of fabric.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner?
Yeah, too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner?
But so do we press him here and then present the evidence, you think?
You might as well press every single thing and then...
This is the final one.
What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
But look, that fabric!
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us the evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall is present, please do so now.
Well, we'll show the evidence.
Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being The one making the mistake. You should save before this. There's a couple of things that we can point to. And
what's the save button?
Press start. Save. And you can just save over that current one. And then go back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now then, let's have another look at that video. But please, for the love of God, mute it. Show us the incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. No, son of a butt. Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
You can fast forward by pressing A. Please do so. God, please. Please, Shell. Give me. Nope. God damn it, I'm playing this again, I guess. Fragging
Even
biscuits.
played fast forward, it's the same pace.
I know, but at least we're not here for as long.
There we
Anyway.
go.
Bring your attention back to the security camera. It's a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Huh. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. You sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit.
You can do it faster.
At least the music isn't playing. You have to give him that.
Yeah, this is the good music. This is Marshall American. Technically, they're all American. Like, this is set in California, like Vegas area.
Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order. It would seem that...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so opened a locker and stuck it in.
But the fingerprints.
Yeah, he's a dumbass. Not my fault he happened to choose mine.
I mean, the finger pads, I should say.
Oh, he's a dumbass.
Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. Hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Attorney badge. Locker.
Yeah, it's an evidence locker.
Fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks.
Didn't we just tell him about this, like, minutes ago?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the episode.
What a dumbass! So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
Chewing on some rawhide?
I only got 1 word for you, partner.
No! Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst joke I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olay! Please, answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Our
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Inside a locker. Officer Marshall is standing right here.
Wait, he was the victim?
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Oh, that victim.
Yeah, I know.
That victim.
Meekins is only kind of victimish.
But wait a minute.
Remember, Meekins approached him.
Wait, but the killer versus the
I know. It's confusing.
Wait, I thought that Meekins was the one standing closer to the wall.
No. Meekins got knocked out and then was against the wall.
I see. He was flung around.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Oh, hey! And we know who carries a knife around with them.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
Huh. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving that beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall is dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
Ah,
this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Huh.
Oh, he's gonna aid you again?
Yep. Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Huh? I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me.
Phoenix, try thinking outside the box.
That's not the basics. That's desperation move. Shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
I mean, it could be the whole jacket and the getup in there. That would explain the white cloth unless it was the cloth. Yeah.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
Ah! What, do we think it's the coat?
Oh, Oh, wait. Oh, that was the glove that fell, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, look. Yeah, there's the bloody shoulder.
Oops. Screwed that up. Want to know the reason why I had to open my locker? Why? So I could stuff you in there. Huh? I'm sure the world would be a better place with you sent to the boneyard. Unfortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room. I'm an unsolved case. I didn't have the cursor in the right place.
Ah.
Okay.
Oh no! It's playing over this!
I see it. I thought present would let me put the cursor over it. Ah.
And don't worry,
Yeah.
I won't sing with it any longer. That's...
But yeah, I forgot to move the cursor.
How did he get bloodied?
From Meekins' hand.
Oh, because the hand got cut.
Yep. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You could just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner.